Good morning, dear student. I welcome to all of you as a student of BSc third year, Rajiv Gandhi Mahavidyalaya Mudkhed. Myself, Dr. G.S. Bhopalkar. We have already started the online teaching for the paper Organic and Inorganic Chemistry, paper number 12. In the last period, we have already discussed about the introduction and classification of drug as well as the functional drugs and all the functional drugs. Now today we will be discuss about the new point from the same topic, that is synthetic of drug, that is chemotherapeutic agent or chemotherapeutic drugs. I have already posted the study material for this chemotherapeutic agent by Google Classroom to all the students on 12th August 2020. Now today we will discuss on the chemotherapeutic agent. What are chemotherapeutic agent? We have already learned the definition of chemotherapeutic agent or chemotherapeutic drugs. The chemotherapeutic agent or chemotherapeutic drugs are those drugs which are used to attack and destroy the invading microorganism or infected microorganism without injuring or destroying the host tissues or cells. Means they can attack or destroy to the infected microorganism, but they do not disturb or they do not destroy or injure to the host cells or host tissue. Such drugs are called as chemotherapeutic drugs. And these chemotherapeutic drugs are used for the specific disease, means they are used against the specific disease. Now what are the chemotherapeutic drugs? Which drugs are used as chemotherapeutic drugs? For example, anti-malarial, antibacterial, antifungal, antitubercular, antibiotics, antiseptic, disinfectant and antiviral. All these are the chemotherapeutic agent because the function of all these drugs is same. They can attack, means these drugs can attack and destroy the invading microorganism without injuring or destroying the infected cells or the infected tissues and cells of host. Now we will see one by one in detail what are anti-malarial. Now anti-malarials means the drugs which is used against the malaria disease. Now the word malaria, which is derived from Italian word and its meaning is mal, means meaning is the bad. Mal means bad. And area means year. Means the malaria which is caused due to the mycia or the smell which is coming from the stagnant water. I think we have well known about this stagnant water, and from that stagnant water there will be the mycia will be coming from them, and because of the mycia means which is coming from the stagnant water, and it is characterized by periodic fever, means patient will be suffering from because of the periodic fever, that is anemia or enlargement of spleen and liver. Means because of this malaria Means the characteristics of malaria that shows, or the silent features of malaria that shows the periodic fever to the patient. The patient may be suffering from anemia, and there may be the enlargement of spleen and liver in his body. Means this is the complete meaning of malaria. Means the mal means bad and area means ear. Means from bad ear. It is the myzema will be coming from the stagnant water, and the patient gets suffering from all these silent features. Now in 1897, Ross Ronald, he has discovered the malarial parasite. Why this malaria is observed or happened in a patient? Means the malarial parasite was discovered by Ross Ronald in 1896 in the stomach of female Anopheles mosquito. Means he has found that a malarial parasite in the wall of stomach of female Anopheles mosquito, and which is found in a damp region. And in 19th century, the science has discovered that the life cycle of malarial parasite. Means 1897, the Ross Ronald has discovered only the where is the malarial parasite in the stomach of female Anopheles mosquito. But in 19th century, the scientists have discovered the complete life cycle of malarial parasite, and there are two life cycles which are found in man and mosquitoes. How many? Two life cycles, and it is caused by the sporozoa of genus Plasmodium and species Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium wool and Plasmodium falciparum. These are the species. Means this malaria is caused by the sporozoa of genus Plasmodium and species Plasmodium vivax, malaria, and ovule and falciparum. Means this is the complete background or history of malaria. Means how the malaria is occurred or found in the man as well as mosquitoes cycles. Now what is the definition of malaria? The definition of anti-malarials, the drugs which are used for the treatment of malarial disease, is called as anti-malarial drug, or the drugs which is used to cure the malaria disease, such a drugs is called as anti-malarial drugs. Means it is very simple definitions. If the question may be asked in the exam, define anti-malarial, just you have to write down the definition of drug, that is the drugs which is used for the treatment of malaria or to cure the malaria disease. Such a drugs is called as anti-malarial. Okay. Now for example, in the past, the quinine and cinchonine bark which were used as a anti-malarial, that is drugs which is isolated or derived from the class of alkaloids, quinine and cinchona bark. Okay. Now the synthetic drug, these are the natural drugs, quinine and cinchona bark, which can be isolated or derived from the alkaloid class of plants. Now the synthetic drug like bigonide, pyrimidines, sulfones derivative as well as pamaquine, santoquine, and chloroquine. These drugs are the synthetic drugs and which are used against the malaria disease. Means, what is the definition of anti-malarial? The antimalarials are the drugs which is used for the treatment of malaria disease or to cure the malaria disease. All these are the examples, and this is the example structure of chloroquine, and this chloroquine is used as a antimalarial drug. Okay. The next chemotherapeutic drug is the antibacterial drug. Now, what are antibacterials? The antibacterials drugs are the drugs which are used, or the antibacterial are the agents which are used in the treatment of infectious diseases which are caused by bacteria. And such a agent or such a compound or such a drugs are called as antibacterial drugs. It is very simple. Means the drugs which is used in the treatment of infectious disease which are caused by bacteria. Means those diseases are discovered or found because of only the bacteria. Such drugs are called as antibacterial drugs. Now this antibacterial may be bacteriostatics and bactericidal. Means the bacteriostatics means this antibacterial may be statics and cidal. Means bacteriostatics are the drugs which inhibit the growth of bacteria. Means they do not kill the bacteria, only they inhibit the growth of bacteria. Such drugs are called as antibacterial, means bacteriostatic drug. Now, what are bactericidal? Bactericidal are the drugs which directly kill to the bacteria. Directly kill to the bacteria. Such drugs are called as bactericidal. And these are the examples. What are the examples? Sulfa drug, sulfanilamide, bacteriostatics, and it controls the bacteria caused by pneumococci, streptococci, meningococci. All these are the drugs which are used as a antibacterial, and this is the structure of sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide is used as a antibacterial. Okay. Now we have learned the first one is antimalarial, second one is antibacterial. Okay. Now next chemotherapeutic drug is antifungal drug. Have you got this point? Okay. Now the what are antifungal? Antifungal agent or antifungal drugs are those drugs which are used in the treatment of infectious disease which are caused by the fungi. Means those diseases which are caused by the fungi. For this purpose, to cure from such diseases, the compound is used. That compound is called as antifungal. This is very simple definition. One again, these antifungal drugs may be two types. Likely to be antibacterial, means now as per how the antibacterials are bacteriostatics and bactericidal. Likewise, the antifungal may be the fungistatics and fungicidal. Now, what is the difference between fungistatics and fungicidal? Statics means the fungistatics are the agents which inhibit the growth of fungi only. Inhibit the growth of fungi. But the fungicidals are the drugs which are used to kill the fungi. This is the difference in between fungistatic and fungicidal. And the examples of antifungal agents are benzoic acid, salicylic acid, salicylamide. All these are the example, familiar example, which are used as a antifungal. They may be fungistatics or fungicidal. Okay. Now the next chemotherapeutic agent is the antitubercular agent. Now I think you have well known about the TB, or TB means tuberculosis. Tubercular is a systemic infectious disease. It is found in man, and this disease, which is caused by the microorganism, and this which microorganism? Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis. These are the bacteria. Because of this bacteria, the tuberculosis is found. Means because of these drugs, or this disease, tuberculosis disease, is caused by the microorganism, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis. The tubercular bacilli are found to be very effective and effective. They are very effective and effective on any organ or tissue of the body, but it is mostly affect on the only lungs, because they on these lungs, their they are live to the longer periodic cough. Means because of longer periodic cough, they are found in a lungs tissue. Means mostly the lungs of man is get affected because of Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis due to the longer periodic cough in animal, right? Means this is the background or history of tuberculosis. Now, to control or to carry out the treatment against the tuberculosis, the drugs which is used, that drug is commonly called as anti-tubercular agent. Then what are anti-tubercular agent? The tubercular agent or the anti-tubercular drugs are those drugs which are used for the treatment of tubercular disease. Means the drugs which are used for the treatment of tuberculosis disease, which are caused by which bacteria? Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis. Means because of these two bacteria, this disease is growth, and because of these two bacteria, if the tuberculosis is observed in any patients, at that time he needs or he required the anti-tubercular agent. Okay, and when such drugs are used against the Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis, such drugs are called as anti-tubercular agent. Now, nowadays in India or in the world, 1 to 2 millions of people died every year because of this tuberculosis. For example, these are the example of para-aminosalicylic acid, isonazides, pyranazides, ethanamide or ethambutol. These are the examples of tuberculosis, that is PAS, para-aminosalicylic acid. Isonazide, this is the structure of isonazide. This is the pyrazinamide, is the structure of pyrazinamide. Now this is about the anti-tubercular agent. Then next chemotherapeutic agent is the antibiotic. I think we have well known about the antibiotic. Nowadays the use of antibiotic is very much. So the word antibiotic, which is coming from the antibiosis, and the meaning is survival to the fittest. This is the meaning of antibiosis. Means survival to the fittest means a process in which one organism may destroy to other preserve itself. Means one organism may get destroyed to others to preserve itself or ourself. Therefore, it is called as antibiosis. Means to leave the survival to the fittest. Now, what is the definition of antibiotic? Antibiotic is the chemical substance that can be produced by or derived from other living cells. Means this antibiotic can be isolated or produced or derived from other living cells. For which purpose? Which are capable to inhibiting the life process or destroying the microorganism at a very small concentration. Such a compound or such a substance is called as antibiotic. For example, penicillin. Now, penicillin can be produced or derived from the penicillin organism, and from this penicillin we can extract the penicillin as a drugs, and this penicillin is used to destroy the microorganism at a very small concentration. Such a substance is called as antibiotics. Now these antibiotics have some specific characters. The antibiotic must be the product of metabolism. Means the product of metabolism is used as a antibiotic, because we have already learned that antibiotic can be derived from or produced from other living cells. Therefore, after the metabolism process, whatever we are getting the product that is used as a antibiotic. Now, the synthetic of antibiotics should be structural analogous with the naturally occurring antibiotics. Means whatever we are synthesizing the antibiotic in a laboratory, that should be the structural analogs of naturally occurring antibiotic. For example, penicillins. And this antibiotic must be effective against the pathogen, and it should be work most effective at low concentrations. Means at low concentration it should be work very much effectively. This is about the antibiotic. Okay. Now this is the example of penicillin. This is naturally occurring antibiotic penicillin. The one more examples: penicillin A, cephalosporin C, streptomycin, cipodoxime, cefixime. All these are the used as antibiotic, because antibiotics are the drugs which can be produced or derived from the other living cells. Okay, this is called as antibiotic. Now the next chemotherapeutic agent is the antiseptic agents. Then what are antiseptic agents? The antiseptic word is derived from Greek word, that is septikosis. This is the Greek word, and its meaning is purify or rot, for purifications. Okay, meaning is purify or rot, that is the stage is being infected with pus forming organism. Means before forming the pus, the stage which is before forming the pus is called as septicosis or purify or rot. Means antiseptics are the drugs. What is the definition? The drugs which are used directly applied to the skin wound. If For example, accident is happened. At that time, if the we got a wound on our skin, at that time this antiseptic is directly applied to the skin wound. Such a drug is called as antiseptic or disinfectant. This antiseptic is generally applied to the living tissues. It is generally applied to the living tissues. That's why it is bacteriostatics. What is bacteriostatics? Meaning is which inhibit the growth of bacteria. And antiseptics are milder in action, but it become longer time. It has a very milder actions, but it will work very longer time. Therefore, the antiseptic may destroy the bacteria, spores, fungi, and viruses. Therefore, this antiseptic is work against the bacteria, spores, fungi, and viruses. This is about the antiseptic drugs. Okay. Now disinfectant. Disinfectants are the bactericidal. Antiseptics are bacteriostatics. Okay. But the disinfectant are bactericidal. They can kill the bacteria. They are used to with non-living cells. Okay, that's why they are called as disinfectants. And this disinfectant having the immediate action within a very shorter time. Means what is the difference between antiseptic and disinfectant? The antiseptics are in milder action and longer time, but disinfectant are immediate action within a very short times. This is the difference in between the antiseptic and disinfectant. And these are the example. For example, phenyl salicylate. This is the structure of phenyl salicylate, which is used as a antiseptic drugs. For example, alcohol, aldehyde, or phenyl salicylate. All these are the example of antiseptic and disinfectant. Okay. Now the next point is antiviral drugs. The antiviral drugs are those drugs which are used for the treatment of infectious disease which are caused by the viruses. Means those diseases which are caused by the viruses, and if the compound is or if any drug is used for the treatment of infectious disease which are caused by viruses, such drugs are called as antiviral drug. For example, indoxuridine, it is used as a eye drop or eye ointment. Or methazone, it is used against the mouth infections. Okay. Dear students, today we have discussed about the chemotherapeutic drugs. We have already learned the chemotherapeutic drugs, that is definition. Today we have learned about the anti-malarial. I have already told the background or history of malaria and what is the definition of anti-malarial and what are the examples. Okay, these are the examples. Now I have already told about the antibacterial also. What are antibacterials? How it work and how it is bacteriostatic and bactericidals, and these are the examples. Then we have discussed about the antifungal. What are antifungal? Antifungals are also fungistatics and fungicidals, and these are the examples. Antitubercular drugs. What is tuberculosis? How the tuberculosis is observed in mans, and which bacteria are responsible for the tuberculosis. Okay, and we have learned the definition of tubercular drugs, and these are the examples which are used as a anti-tubercular agents. Then next we have learned about the antibiotic. Antibiotic nothing but it is the survival to the fittest. Means one organism may get destroyed to the others for to preserve itself. Okay. Now how these antibiotics is effective at a very small concentration which destroy the microorganism. It is called as antibiotics. And the next one, this is the example of penicillin. With example, as antibiotics, there are number of antibiotics nowadays in the markets, and antiseptics. I have discussed in detail what is the difference between antiseptics and disinfectants. And lastly, I have told about the definition of antiviral drug and its example. And now presently we are facing a serious problem in the world as well as in our country, the disease which is caused by the viruses. That disease is, the name of disease is which one? That is coronavirus. Means because of COVID-19 many peoples are suffering from the uh, viral diseases due to the coronavirus. Therefore, at present, no any drugs which is used against for the proper treatment of antiviral on the corona disease. But most of the scientists, most of the countries are doing work to discover the uh, drugs which will be work effectively against the antiviral. Okay, dear students, today we will be stop here. The next part of this chapter we will be discuss in the next period. Thank you.